Welcome to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Owen Hayes. You're watching Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented to you by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. And I'm going to tell you, it is the 28th of October. Yes, we're staring at the end of 2023, and for some, that's a darn good thing. I might be one of them. I'll be happy to see this year go behind me. But the duck hunting's been great, so I'm not complaining too much, right? We'll talk about that here later on in the show when I have my upcoming field report. So we will share, or at least I will share, how my week has been chasing some birds around. Have some reports to share on for you that have been out chasing some fish as well. And we're actually going to have a report on that in a little bit. But before we get there, special guest in the studio, we're going to have Derek Broman from ODFW. Now, just a short period of time ago, we had Derek in talking about chronic wasting disease. And it is this is such an important topic, right? Such an important bit of information that all of us outdoors people, doesn't matter if you just fish, doesn't matter if you just hunt, or if you're like me and you do both, and maybe even if you don't do either of those. This is something that you have to be aware of so that maybe you can help others, or at least inform them of what chronic wasting disease actually is and how detrimental to our herds here in Oregon, not just on the east side, on the west side, south, north, everywhere, the entirety, Washington included, right? That this is a huge issue. Hence the reason why ODFW is back in here to talk about that. And we're going to give you more information than even the last time we had him in. We're going to talk about a couple of different topics, other reasons why you want to pay attention to this. And I actually have some questions, actually taking my deer during bow season. I did keep that just for this situation to find out what that process is to have those skulls tested, right? I was lucky, and I'm going to leave it at that. I was lucky I was able to take my deer, and this is a perfect opportunity to talk about it and how easy and how much ODFW is literally bending over backwards to make sure that you can get this information to them, the skulls to them, so that these tests can be done, right? I want to take some of the, maybe not nerves out of it, but it's a lot easier than you might think, and what it can do to help our herds far exceeds what you might complain about. Again, we'll talk about that when we get Derek in the studio here in just a little bit, so don't miss that, especially if you still have tags in your pocket going through. Maybe you're lucky and you got this 615 that I can never draw, right? That coveted 615 tag, and you can go into February. You got a lot of time, right? And we're going to give you a reason why you want to do this, right? Take that head in and get it tested. All right, so in a little bit, we're going to have Derek in. After that, we're going to have good friend Brandon Glass. He is actually live this morning along the Central Coast chasing salmon around with clients. Yes, Brandon is a guide. He is the owner-operator, part owner-operator of Team Hookup Guide Service. His father, Jack Glass, is the other part of that. And they're both fishing up and down the coast. We're going to check in with Brandon live, find out how the fishing has been for him, and just get some insight, some real insight on what's going on, because it's been pretty darn good. Now, I'll admit I haven't been doing any fishing. We're coming up to our split, which we'll talk about here on this upcoming segment when you're talking about duck season. So I'll spend a day or two out chasing some silvers. But we'll get that information out so you can make a good decision on what you want to do this upcoming week and going forward. Doesn't look like we're going to have any fresh water, so that certainly does not help. So we will be finding out some of that info with Brandon, and we're going to have the deal of the week for you from Fisherman's Marine. Again, if you're about ready to head out for a hunt, maybe you're in the midst of one, you need some new gear. We'll show you why and tell you why that buy three, get one free, excuse me, I always say that. The buy three, get one, Bridget's over here laughing at me. The buy three, get one free deal, right? That's Yakima bait, that's not what I'm talking about. It's the deal of the week from Fisherman's Marine. It is a good one, so make sure you stick with us for that. Now, if you've been sending in some of your photos, pay attention here, because we're going to show you some of the photos that everyone's been sending in, and I'm going to show you how you can actually do that. There's still some folks out there that are having some troubles every so often. It's very, very easy, and we're going to show you the best way to do it. But let's start off with a couple of photos that everyone's been sending in, and there's a nice silver. Yes, coho. I like saying silver because I'm old, okay? We never called them coho when I was growing up. It's always silver. But that's actually still been holding on pretty strong in the main stem. So don't think that you don't have those options where you can still get out there in the sled and go have some fun on the big river. 4 limits and 2 great dogs. Well, that's how you got the limits, guys. Because I'm going to guess that you weren't chasing them around on your own. I don't know where they are. That's probably private property, but hey, you guys need I'd like to say have call and dog will travel, but it sounds like, or looks like, you don't really need my help. Just think of me someday. Nice shoot, though. That's the way to do it. And there's going to be quite a few more of those coming in as we go forward. Here's Gerald with a nice little buck. That's a blacktail. Right, Derek? Am I missing that? No, that's a blacktail. By the way, delicious! When all my buddies are, still working on their tag soup, right? I was eating backstrap last night. And of course, you got to have the saltwater photos in there. You know what? That's actually on our boat. I actually have a special guest in the studio this morning, Bridget Pierce, everyone. And that's our boat that we used to go out on with our fishing trip every year. Folks from Garibaldi Charters. Great photo. Thanks for sending that in. And here's oh, look at this. Opening day bonus. Kurt, pay attention here coming up here a little bit, kids. I'm going to have a photo very similar to that. But we won't get into that in this segment. That's for next segment. This is how you actually do it. Find our Fox 12 app, which, by the way, is super simple, just in the App Store or wherever you find those things. At least that's what they tell me. You scroll down, find Outdoor GPS, click on it. It'll tell you where and how to upload your photos and video so that you can jump in at the front of each one of our shows. We love doing it. Don't be shy. And for you that are out there that are watching that you'd love to, always wanted to, at least, try to call in. And sometimes you have not been able to. It's the Terra Firma hotline. It's right here, 503-548-6777. If you have questions, comments, or reports to this upcoming segment, I've got some time to take that call. We will be starting an interview again with Derek Broman from ODFW, talking again about chronic wasting disease. And again, for all of you hunters out there, I really want you just to sit back, grab your copy, Red Bull, I don't care. And if you haven't heard much about this issue, if you haven't heard about how scary, full-blown scary chronic wasting disease is, and it's now on our doorstep here in Oregon, you have to watch our interview with Derek in just a little bit. But when we come back, we're going to have my report segment. I'll have some photos to show you, as well as give you some ideas of what you should do this upcoming week, or maybe, for that matter, even tomorrow after the show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.